Hey guys, my name is Melissa, and it's been a long time since I've made a video, but today I wanted to stop by and talk about something that is really important to me, which is mental health. I wanted to share my experience with going to therapy. I know a lot of people still feel really awkward about the topic, about going, about even searching, and I guess I wanted to just step in here and share my experience, share what I've learned, all the misconceptions that I had before, and how it's changed my life. I've only been going for a few months now, but I've noticed that my mindset has shifted on a lot of things, and I'm able to kind of cope with a lot of problems that I probably wouldn't have been able to before. It's just been such a beneficial thing in my life that I am so excited and proud to be a part of. I'm going to start with the very beginning of my experience, which was probably back in college. I always have been interested in psychology and the mind and how, people think and interact with others. Fast forward to this past year, I decided to kind of take things more seriously, and the only reason I honestly did was because I knew someone that was so comfortable and so confident in her therapy sessions. This was someone I worked with, and she just openly would talk about how she loved her therapist and he knows all the right things to say and blah 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 blah. After seeing how comfortable she was talking about therapy, I started to realize that it's really not a big deal to go to therapy. It's really not a big deal to seek professional help for something that can be beyond you sometimes. I feel like with mental health, it's such a sensitive, fragile topic, and sometimes it's really hard to deal with problems on your own. And the reason that I sought out professional help was because I felt like my problems were bigger than me and I needed someone to kind of help me sort through it. After that, I started talking to more people. I started talking to my friends, asking them, I'm thinking about therapy. Like, have you ever thought about it? I think out of all my friends, a lot of them said that they were interested, but they just weren't ready or weren't in the place, but they did want to. And then on the other side, I did have a couple friends also who had gone to therapy and share their experience with me, and that really gave me the push to kind of be like, okay, it is something that I want to see how it could change my life. On psychology.com, you can actually search all the psychologists in your area, narrow it down to your specific, zone or wherever is comfortable for you. You can filter down to your insurance companies, what type of therapy, and male or female. There's so many different filters that you can use on psychology.com. And so what I did was I just searched it one day and I put in my zip code. I put in females in my area. I knew that I wanted someone who was probably Asian American, just so there were more things to relate to. And what it does is show you their name. It gives a short bio. I just kind of read through and saw who might be someone that I could click with. I think that's one thing when you're searching for therapists. It's really important to kind of make sure that it's someone that you can click with, feel comfortable with, and know that you can talk to comfortably and openly. I found one person and she was Asian American, so I was like, okay, like she seems really sweet and I really liked her background. She was experienced. So I just reached out and I sent an email and I said, hey, I'm basically interested in therapy. I've never done it before. I don't know where to start. I just want to talk. She got back to me and she said that she would love to set up a phone consultation. I was like, okay, this is kind of starting. It's happening really fast, but I'm ready. So I scheduled the appointment and we talked on the phone while I was at work for 15 minutes, and she just kind of asked things like, what kind of things are you dealing with? So I basically told her, a general overview of a lot of things that I was feeling or going through at the time. And she was really understanding and really supportive and kind of like reassuring on the phone. And she just had like a really sweet, soft tone to her that made me feel comfortable, and that she was very compassionate and very understanding and a good listener and things like that. And within those 15 minutes, I was already crying because I was like, oh my God, there's so much. But after that phone call, I was like, wow, okay, this is like kind of what it would feel like, At the end of the conversation said, okay, I definitely think that you and I would be a good fit, and if you're interested, we can set up your first appointment and go from there. I felt like everything happened in baby steps, and it it didn't ever feel like I was plunging into something I wasn't ready for, or that I was kind of overwhelmed by anything. And it happened all very smoothly, and I think I got really lucky because it was the first and only person that I reached out to, and it happened to be someone who had availability and just generally seemed really sweet and like myself. After that, we scheduled our first appointment, and she sent me a questionnaire and got me set up in her portal. It was an easy way to schedule appointments and to put all of my information in there. I filled out the questionnaire, and it just asked general questions like, oh, have you been feeling this way and this way and this way, and I don't know, just like overall questions about myself. I sent that, and then I finally attended my first session. And then I guess I would say the rest is history. I mean, I've been going since January, the beginning of this year. I told her that I wanted to start off kind of slowly. I didn't want to dive right into a session a week just because I kind of wanted to ease my way into it. And she definitely respected that, and she's the one who actually recommended it, and then said that if we wanted to change certain things about our scheduling, we could do that as we go. I love going to her because I feel like I have a big sister that I can talk to. In the beginning, it's kind of weird finding your footing, and I think that for me, I have a hard time opening up with people, even with my friends and stuff like that. So it was just an adjustment for me to learn how to speak to a complete stranger and open up about myself. But I think it's also helped me in a lot of ways because that's something that I probably needed to work on anyway. I mean, that's basically my experience. I would also say that the very beginning of the sessions were more just kind of getting to know each other. And I think it's really important for you to also get to know your therapist as much as it is for her to get to know you, because you want to feel like you can build a rapport and feel comfortable and kind of build a solid relationship / foundation to get things going. I think the hardest thing for me was just confronting the roadblocks that I've had with my own self journey. But I feel like it's very liberating to know that I can talk to someone comfortably. And what she does is kind of just map out everything in a general sense of what I'm feeling. And she's able to really pinpoint those situations and make it very cleanly listed. And I guess in my mind, I like to just jumble everything, and everything becomes a giant whirlwind, and I'm like, oh my god, everything's collapsing on each other. She poses a lot of good questions to where I'm finding my own solutions instead of me feeling like someone else is telling me what to do. I'm kind of coming up with it myself, which is what I wanted to in the beginning, just kind of be able to figure things out on my own, but kind of know the route to doing that, if that makes sense. The few misconceptions that I had before going to therapy was that, one, you needed a reason to go. I, for some reason, thought that you needed a really traumatic experience to fall upon your life for you to seek help. And I don't think that is true at all. I think it's so important for everyone, no matter what you're going through, how well you think you have your life together, to go to therapy, because it just really, really, really helps clear out your mind. I find it to be a mind exercise, just like you physically exercise your body. I think it's really important to kind of exercise your mind, clear things out in there, and just filter out what's important, what's not important. It's kind of like Marie Kondoing your mind. I think it's been so helpful being able to do that with someone outside of my circle, because when you're with your friends or with your family or people that are close to you, I feel like everyone has their own opinions, and it kind of starts to get clouded in your mind to what you even want to do. The second misconception I actually heard from my friend when I was talking to him was that he thought that he had to dig up all past traumas and experiences to be able to kind of talk about things in the future. And I don't necessarily feel like that's true. I think that I'm able to talk about what I want to talk about. I'm not forced to talk about things that make me uncomfortable. I think I get to kind of find my own boundaries and create them myself. The third misconception is that therapists are just going to tell you what to do. And that's not true at all, for me at least, because my therapist, like I said before, helps guide me. And she definitely steers me in the right direction to make sure that I'm not going off the cliffs or edges. But some things that I've learned is that, one, finding a therapist can be very hard, and I think for me, I got very lucky, but I think it's an ongoing process that is completely worth it, because once you find the right one, you're probably going to stick with them for a really long time. It's kind of like finding friendships. It's kind of like finding dating partners. I think that it's important to kind of build chemistry and rapport and a healthy relationship where you feel comfortable and safe, especially safe. And I think if you just dig in there and do a lot of good research, Psychology Today is a really good resource. The second thing I learned is that free consultations are super helpful. You could definitely kind of chat things out with people, and I feel like you're kind of interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you at that point. So you can really gauge to see how well and how comfortable you click, even though it's a short 15 minutes. I think you can really tell, the vibe of a person over the phone and just see how well you communicate and how well they respond to you. The third thing I learned is that it is totally fine to start at your own pace. It's a huge journey that you're starting. It's definitely been different than anything I've ever done before. And so for me, it was nice to kind of ease into my schedule. The fourth thing I learned is that insurances can be really, really tricky. For me, I had to gauge which insurance I wanted based off of how often I wanted to go. That's when I started really thinking of it as an investment and thinking that this is something that I'm spending money on for myself, and it's something that I can see is going to be an ongoing thing. And it's going to help me a lot in the future, in the long run. Anyway, I think that's all I have to say. It's been a really long video, but thank you so much for listening and watching. If you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment or ask me or DM me or whatever. You can find me on my social media channels. But yeah, thanks for listening. I'm here to talk if anyone needs to talk. And I think that's about it. All right, I'll see you guys later. Bye.